Elon Musk, why is he so disliked? Have you ever asked yourself why so many people despise the man, even though it seems like he's trying to do good things? Well, I really wanted an answer, so I dove into it, and this is what I found. He's one of the most polarizing figures out there. Some see him as a genius pushing humanity forward, and others, well, they can't stand him. And if you've noticed, a lot of the loudest critics seem to overlap with folks who have strong feelings about another polarizing figure, and that is Donald Trump. Big 45. So today we're unpacking why some people, especially those with what's called Trump derangement syndrome, seem to dislike Elon so much. We'll look at his wins, his controversies, and we'll try to make sense of all of it, hopefully. So first, let's talk about the things that Elon's done because it's a lot. He's a busy guy. With Tesla, he didn't just make electric cars cool, he made them a serious player in the auto industry. Tesla's pushed sustainable energy forward with millions of electric vehicles on the road, cutting down on fossil fuel use, which is really ironic considering I never thought I would see the day where conservatives were pushing for electric cars. It's pretty funny. And the company's evaluation at its peak was over $1 trillion. It's not just business, it's a whole cultural shift. And then there's SpaceX. Reusable rockets? Check. Sending astronauts to the International Space Station? Check. Starlink, providing internet to remote corners of the globe? Check. SpaceX has slashed the cost of space travel and made Mars feel less like sci-fi and more like a real goal. Now, whose goal it is? Billionaires, but it's still pretty cool. And let's not forget about his other ventures. Neuralink is a working brain-computer interface to help people with disabilities. The Boring Company is tackling urban congestion with tunnels, and xAI is building AI to accelerate human discovery. Whether you love him or not, Elon's got a track record of taking big swings and often hitting home runs. His work inspired countless innovators to think bigger. Now that's all fine and dandy, but the point of this video is why the hate. So let's get into why people seem to dislike the man so much. It's obviously political. Musk has been vocal about free speech, especially after buying X in 2022 and making changes to the platform. He's also had interactions with conservative figures, most prominently Donald Trump, which rubs some people in the wrong way, obviously. Trump is a very polarizing figure. You kind of either love him or hate him. I think a lot of people are starting to just kind of learn to deal with him, take the good with the bad, but, there's always going to be extremes on either side, obviously. If you're already skeptical of anyone tied to Trump, Elon Musk's pragmatic or neutral political stance can feel like a betrayal, especially if you lean progressive. Then there's his personality. Elon's not exactly a buttoned-up CEO. He's out there posting memes, dropping hot takes, and sometimes just stirring the pot. Let's be honest, he likes to stir the pot. He calls himself a free speech absolutist or tweeting about controversial topics, which I'm all for. I don't think there's anything that anybody should not be allowed to say. We've had many wars about free speech, and I don't understand the beef with it, personally. To some like myself, it's very refreshing to see somebody that rich and powerful just being honest, not trying to play the goody two-shoes. And to others, it just seems reckless and unprofessional. Now, with the stigma of wealth in this country, his wealth doesn't help his case either. As one of the richest people alive, Musk embodies the billionaire archetype that some folks, especially those critical of capitalism, see as the root of inequality. Add to that the allegations about workplace issues at Tesla and SpaceX, like labor disputes or safety concerns, and you've got fuel for the fire. Now, I think that's kind of an unfair criticism because there's only so much one guy can do, You hire management, you hire down for people to solve these problems and take care of these little things. So by the time it boils to the top, you're only dealing with the highest level problems. But at the end of the day, he is the boss, and it is his responsibility. Some people point to reports of high-pressure work environments or anti-union stances as evidence he's more profit-driven than people-driven, which is very possible because these billionaires are wired different. You can't expect everybody to have the same work ethic as you. Some of us have lives, Elon. And then there's the hypocrisy angle. Musk champions sustainability, but critics point to his private jet use or Tesla's factory emissions, which is very common with anybody who claims to care about the world. They're having climate change summits where everybody's flying there on their private jets, which is kind of hilarious. And I think Elon just wanted to make a cool car and save money on reusable rockets, in my opinion. But hey, kill two birds with one stone, I guess. For those already primed to dislike him, these contradictions are proof he's not the hero he's made out to be. These criticisms hit harder with people who see Musk through a political lens, especially those who associate him with figures like Trump. Now, let's talk about this, the Trump derangement syndrome thing. It's a term often used mockingly to describe people with an intense, sometimes irrational dislike of Donald Trump. And here's where it gets interesting. Some of the dislike spills over onto Musk. Why? Because Musk doesn't fit neatly into a political box. He's criticized both the left and the right, but his push for deregulation, free speech, and his occasional cozying up to conservative ideas, like challenging the woke culture, makes some folks lump him in with Trump's camp. For those with strong anti-Trump feelings, Musk becomes a symbol of everything they're fighting against: wealth, power, and a perceived disregard for progressive values. His X posts or policy comments can feel like a dog whistle to some, even if he's not explicitly endorsing one side. It's less about what Musk does and more about what he represents in a deeply divided world. That's where the overlap comes in. Now, here's the tricky thing, because Elon Musk's achievements are undeniable, but so are a lot of the criticisms. They seem to be valid. Workplace issues, controversial statements, and wealth inequality are a real concern for most Americans, but the level of dislike, especially from those who tie him to Trump, it often just feels bigger than what it needs to be. In today's polarized world, Musk became a lightning rod, a stand-in for broader debates about capitalism, tech's influence, and free speech. I do think that Elon Musk is living on a different world, no pun intended. His main concerns don't really align with what's really going on with the average person, but that's to be expected, I guess. So to boil it all down, why exactly do people dislike Elon Musk? It's a mix of his bold personality, his political associations, and the fact that he's a billionaire in a world where the general public has become extremely skeptical of billionaires. But let's also not forget his work has changed industries and pushed humanity forwards in ways few others have. You gotta rustle the cage sometimes, and that's what he's done. Love him or hate him, he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So what do you think? Is the dislike fair, or is it more about the bigger cultural divide? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your take, and let's ask ourselves, can we judge someone like Musk fairly in a world this polarized? So hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see y'all for the next one.